This is the Cliff Yates Show. Personal growth, motivation, inspiration, and philosophies for a great life.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Cliff Yates Show, and I am really looking forward to talking to my guest today. He is the creator, founder of PowWows.com, and he's all into business, entrepreneurship, having a positive impact on other people, and that's what we're all about here. So let's get right into it. Mr. Paul Gowder, thanks for joining me, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate the time this morning. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, what is PowWows.com? PowWows.com, how did that come to be, and what do you do there?
Yeah, PowWows.com is a place for anyone to come, regardless if you're Native American or not. It's a place for you to come learn, explore, experience, and connect with Native American culture. And we do that through articles with our writers. We live stream powwows across the country. So if you're not able to go to one, we can put it on the web for you. We have a powwow calendar. So I encourage you, if you've never been to a powwow, there's over 1,200 that happen a year, at least on our calendar, and we're missing many. So there's one in a state near you, and all over Canada. So come check it out. It's a great way to experience it. That's what PowWows.com is. It's an online community for that. But how I got started, so back in '96, long time ago.
Wow.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I was in graduate school, and sorry, my phone is going.
Oh, no worries.
And I'm always loved tinkering with computers and playing with programming or whatever. So in my free time, I was just playing with HTML, and so I built some web pages on things that I knew about. One, I built a page on vintage Star Wars toys.
What? Oh my God.
Obviously, I still love that and still into it. But at the time, that was before the prequels and all the other movies and series came out, back before Disney Plus and everything else. So nobody visited that website. It's fine. It's still out there in its same 1996 state.
Wow.
But I also built several pages on powwows. I was first learning about powwows at the time. Was making my outfit, learning how to dance and sing, and people were taking me to powwows and doing all that. So it was a way for me to kind of just say, hey, here's some things I'm learning. Here's some things I'm exploring and connecting with. And so I started building web pages, and immediately the community started forming, and people wanted the feeling they had of connection at a powwow online. And so that's kind of how we began. It was the community first, and we just grew from there.
Oh, that makes sense. Man, I love the videos of the dances and you just expressing what the cultures are about, man. And that's a YouTube. I forgot the name. Your YouTube page is what? I'll leave links to all your stuff in the description and the podcast notes.
Yeah, we're PowWows.com on YouTube. Yeah,
PowWows.com on YouTube, man. Everybody should go there and check that out because you get some great video of people that it's just is it different? It's the dances of the culture, right? That are expressing.
Right. Yeah, powwows, they're just celebrations, right? So you can have a powwow. Tribes will host powwows for their annual homecoming. They'll have it for some people will just sponsor one for their graduation of their child, or there's all kinds of different reasons you would have a powwow. Some of them today are still traditional powwows where it's just traditional singing and dancing, but many of them now are competitions. So the dancers and the singers compete for big prizes.
Wow.
And there's kind of a circuit, and people travel from powwow to powwow and kind of help either make a living or supplement their income with a little side hustle there on the powwow trail. So so the videos we have are mostly what we go to are the competition powwows, so you can go and kind of see all the different dance styles. I
love that. Where did that term come from? Because I know we've all, I remember saying as a kid, we got to have a powwow. I mean, you got to get together, a community, or
exactly, yeah. I think the original word came from some of the northeastern tribes, and it was just a word for gathering. Not all tribes had powwows; they all had their different gatherings or whatever. So powwows have kind of spread across the country, and many tribes have them, even though maybe it wasn't part of their history 300 years ago. But we have powwows that are 150, 160 years old. So it's a tradition that's been going on for a long time.
Oh my God, that's great. And so you're Native American yourself?
I am a descendant on my dad's side. Yes.
Oh, okay. And where are you located at, physically?
I'm in Lexington, South Carolina.
Oh, you're in South Carolina. I love South Carolina. I was born in Beaufort, South Carolina, because my dad was in the Marine Corps. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have a summer property in upstate New York, so we were traveling. So let's stop in it. We went to Charleston. Man, have you been to Charleston?
My daughter spent her first 2 years in college in Charleston. Yeah, loved it.
And
Yeah.
did she stay there or no? She
Well, her second year was just a few months ago. She's
okay.
gotten accepted into the Disney College program.
Oh,
She's moved to
great.
Florida and is working for the Mouse.
Oh my God, that's great. So I only asked that because we were in Charleston. We were talking to a young lady at a gift shop, right? And she goes, "Well, I went to college here, and then I just couldn't leave, so she stayed there." And it's like,
I
because
think my daughter would have stayed in Charleston forever, but Disney's always been her dream. So she had the chance and she jumped on it. So she's been
good.
here January.
Gosh, she's living her dream. That's great. My goodness, I was surprised that we only stayed there one night, but we went out that night. And we thought this was kind of going to be unique that we were going on a ghost tour. There must have been 25 ghost tours going on there.
Yeah, it's really popular. Savannah's the same way. There's tons of them.
Yeah,
They're
wow.
super fun. Yeah.
So you travel all over the country with this, or do you do most of your stuff like online, or you know,
Yeah. So
or the
we,
competitions? Is that where you really kind of go to places and?
yeah, the powwows that they bring us in to help market their event and kind of show the world what's going on with their particular powwow. In the beginning, when we started live streaming powwows in 2004, and so back then it was just me traveling around by myself, sometimes with my wife. So yeah, I was traveling all over. We've grown now. Last year we streamed 25 powwows, so it's more than I can handle. And so I have a team now, and
Oh, great.
one of the guys, Michael Gowder, has really kind of exploded our growth there. He's a powwow dancer himself and his wife, and so they're able to, and they live out in the Midwest, so it's a little bit easier for them to drive to some of these powwows. Most of them are Midwest, Oklahoma, Southwest, that kind of thing. So yeah, he's really exploded the number of powwows we're doing. So I don't travel as much. I go to maybe 5 to 7 a year now, on a good year, but my next one, I'll be heading out to Albuquerque at the end of April. If anybody wants to see the biggest powwow of the year, we'll be streaming that one. It's Gathering of Nations. It is the largest powwow of the year.
In Albuquerque. Wow.
100,000 people will come in person.
Wow.
3,000 dancers. It's quite the scene. So if you're not able to make it to Albuquerque, definitely go check us out on PowWows.com and watch it live.
Wow.
It's amazing.
So you're kind of the media corporation of exposing this and creating the content to expose other people to this wonderful thing. That's great. So
in the beginning, it was more about the community focused, but now what we try to do at PowWows.com is we want to, if we educate more people, again, native or not, if we educate more people, then more people will fall in love with the culture, connect with the culture. And if we can do that, then we can start making, and not start, but continue to make some of these issues and areas of concern, they become more in the limelight. People understand them more. So, and we're hoping that by doing these things, that maybe we can help these native artists, these native dancers really tell their stories and get their word out. So yeah, it's really elevating other people and shining spotlights on these stories and things that we can share with others.
Wow. Okay. Great. And so what happens is, so do you maybe you might have your team out there like filming, and you get the data or you get the content and you arrange it or you put it out there.
Yeah. I mean, for the live streams, we're literally just streaming.
Oh, you go live. You just go live. What's going on? Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's great.
25 last year were streamed live. Afterwards, we'll take all the videos and we'll clip it up and put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will be live. We have I'm not sure when your episode's going out, but you can check a calendar on our website of all our live events, but we're going live tonight. So from North Dakota, I believe. Yeah.
From North Dakota. Oh my God, that's great. So now has this caused you to like really like research different tribes? So it's just all the tribes come together for these competitions, different?
Yeah.
So it's been great for the tribes, right? Who maybe didn't communicate with each other, and then they've come together even as a better community, or? Yeah,
as powwows have grown, and with 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when casinos were really starting to come onto the scene, and tribes were able to invest in those that really helped the growth of powwows, and so more tribes were able to put more money into them, and that helped grow this competition and all the competitions at powwows and put more money into the purses. So it's really helped people Now that they're able to really supplement their income and
Yeah.
make this a substantial part of their life. Powwow for many people is part of their life, and they
Yeah.
go to traditional powwows and they dance, and it's just part of the culture. But now these tribes are able to help these dancers do more, and there again, we also we work with some folks that like Native Pride Productions. Larry Yazzie, he travels the world and educates people on Native culture. He was just in Dubai
Oh, wow.
on a cultural exchange. So the more people see these powwows, the more people see the culture, whether it's through casino powwows and competitions or our live streams. People all over the world are interested, and we're able to really tell these stories and spread the word of Native culture everywhere.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. We have our summer places in the Thousand Islands in New York. I don't know if you know where that is, but the Lake Ontario dumps into the St. Lawrence River, and then there's a 20-mile stretch of the Thousand Islands, they call it. But all of those islands were originally, the Indians utilized those
Yeah.
many years ago, and you see the names, but you don't know the history of it. Like if I wanted to research some of those tribes, how would I do that? Just searching or?
Yeah, just doing some Google search. We have some tribal specific history on our site, but we're more focused on individuals or companies, businesses. We tell those stories more than tribal history.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, for example, yesterday I was able to interview Gary Farmer, who's the star in Reservation Dogs and
Oh,
Smoke Signals, which is an iconic Native film. And he's
Smoke Signals. I haven't seen that.
that's one of those must-watch films. You have to do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So we love telling those kind of stories, right? We love highlighting these kind of things that are going on. We of course we had lots of coverage of Killers of the Flower Moon, or if you didn't watch Reservation Dogs, it was a Hulu show.
I haven't. No, I haven't watched that.
For 3 seasons. So we interviewed some of the folks that were involved in that, and helped tell their story and show what they were doing. So that's the kind of thing we focus on more than just telling tribal histories.
Gotcha. I got it. And you're and you do business coaching for these businesses and stuff. And
Yeah. So, I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've done it. I've made all the mistakes, and some things I got right. Some things I got lucky, as you have to do.
You have to, right? Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. So I had a business coach a few years ago, and he was helping me kind of figure some things out. I've only been working full time with PowWows.com for about 2 years. I worked in state government. That was my career for 25 years, and I was able to retire a couple of years ago. So, he was helping me figure out if and when I could make that transition. And in that, as we were talking more and more over the couple of years I was, working with him, that was something he kept telling me is, look, you've learned these lessons. Now it's time to share them. So that's something I've started leaning into more, speaking at some conferences and also doing some online coaching and helping people, really focusing on helping people build communities, and especially really focus on their email marketing. With today's world of social media changes, Google algorithm changes, you never, TikTok could be banned, whatever.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah.
I think it's probably it's a political ploy, but to get them to sell. But you never know what's going to happen, right? But with email, I tell people you've got to focus on your email. You've got to own your list.
It's the most important thing, to have your list, because that's the only thing you own. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
That's important. I'm glad I saw that on your site that you consult with people on that, and because that is your ownership. If everything else gets shut down, you have your people in this location. It's so important.
Yes.
It's funny, this controversy, and I wish more people would look into, and maybe because of all the things that are going around in the country and the world, it made me delve into it. Let me see really how we were founded, if we were founded on Judeo-Christian, because everything you hear, I think, let's see what's true,
Right.
So have you heard of Squantos, right? That Indian?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was just so surprised. I guess he was basically taken as a slave, right, to Europe. And then he learned English, and he was kind of sent, and he learned kind of their culture, and then he learned agricultural. And then when he was back, in the United States, when the colonies came, if it wasn't for him, because he was able to kind of bridge the gap between the tribes and these colonies and maybe, keep it safe, but also if he didn't teach them how to farm and stay alive, so he was you could almost say he was the bedrock of how the country was founded and was able to survive, right? I mean, it was an amazing story that I don't know if it's really taught anymore.
No, and I encourage your listeners to go and also look up, the Iroquois Confederacy. Our
Okay.
Constitution was really founded on some of the things that the Iroquois tribe was doing. The founding fathers were
Oh,
really impressed with what they were doing and how they structured things, and it's amazing that they pulled a lot from them.
yeah. We're
It's not taught, yeah.
yeah. We grew. I grew up in a little village of Caledonia, New York, and it has a big Indian culture. But matter of fact, one of the beer joints in town is called the Iroquois Inn. But that whole area has Chautauqua this, and it has the names of these tribes. But we're never educated on the history of these things. So I'm definitely going to look into the Iroquois because I believe they had a big contingency there in upstate New York. But I really don't know where their tribal boundaries were or where they traveled to. But yeah, I find it interesting. I'm in Florida now, so I was God. I'm trying to think of the name of the tribe down here in Florida that all they went through and the torture they went through. But then they ended up. I think they own all the Hard Rocks now in the whole country.
Yeah, that's Seminole.
The Seminoles, yeah, that's right. Oh my God, that's such a great history, man. I started reading about that. I got into that. That's an amazing history. Yeah, the Seminoles, man. They were involved in. They survived a lot of wars, and man, between the Spanish American wars, and they were, man, they had, and they're still going today. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and what they've done with Hard Rock's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Ah, that's great. And that's kind of your message, right, man? Monetize your value, and we're in a country where you can create a business and you can and thrive. So, and you're helping everybody do that. I think that's great that you're doing that and that you have the technology to do that. IT guy. What were you going in? What was your graduate work? What were you taking in college?
Yeah, so I got a graduate degree in public administration, which is where
That's
kind of
great.
where I went. I worked in government bureaucracy for 20 something years. Yeah.
Oh, you did? What capacity?
I was in IT. So at the end of my career, I was an IT project manager, IT manager with the South Carolina Attorney General's office.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
Yeah.
You must have met guys like Tim Scott and all these guys from South Carolina.
So if anybody followed along with the South Carolina case of the what was it? The Murdaugh murders. And
Murdaugh. Oh man, we watched that whole thing. Believe me, yeah.
That's the office I worked for. So that case was just starting when I retired.
Wow. Did you know that family, or you knew you must have
No,
you
I
knew
didn't
of
know
them?
But I mean, the people you saw on TV every day are the people I worked with for 20 years.
Wow. Gosh, what a crazy case that was. My God.
In some ways, I wish I wouldn't have retired because some of the things I did in IT were really, would have been working closely with that case. But in a lot of, I'm so glad I got out before that.
Yeah.
That worked in my department. They lived down there in Beaufort for months.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's where I was born, Beaufort. Yeah. But I was only there a few weeks. My dad was in the Marine Corps, as I was saying. He was Parris Island, right? So,
right.
Wow, that's amazing. So I wanted to, we were talking about touching on accidental entrepreneurship. Is that you kind of theme how you got into what you're in right now?
Yeah, it's when I started out again. This wasn't a thing. I was going to try to build a business out of it. I was just playing, right? It wasn't until later that, as the site grew and we started having to buy software or buy the domain name, or all of a sudden we outgrew the server we were on, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Is that I started monetizing and figuring out, could we, is there a way we could make a little bit of money off Amazon affiliate or something like that, just to pay the bills, right?
Right.
It was years, probably a decade into doing this before I was like, okay, maybe this could be a positive income flow. It was something that I put personal money into for probably a decade or more, and before we really started actually making money and becoming a little bit more business centered and figuring out that, hey, I probably need to think about this a little bit more. And that's the kind of thing I want to help people with, is that there's steps you can do, there's things you can implement, whether it's email list or focusing on community that can help your business, and hopefully people can learn those lessons faster than I did.
Oh, so you will consult or you will coach them and email marketing and that kind of thing, or is that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on my first course now about email marketing, but right now I just do business one-on-one coaching.
Great.
For that. So I've got several clients, I'm helping them build their list, whether, you're starting off and you're like, I'm working with one lady. She's had her email account, or set up on MailChimp for months and months, but hasn't
Yeah.
touched it. So because people are intimidated by it, they don't know where to start or what to say.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I help people with. Or, I've got other people I'm working with that have grown their list and maybe have a few hundred subscribers or maybe 1,000 subscribers and don't know what to send, don't know, they're sending a broadcast message to everybody once a week and they're not really seeing any performance out of it. So, I talk to them and figure out, let's figure out what the segments of your list are. What do people really want to know about? What are those content pillars of your business? And let's create some sequences, some emails just about that. And let's figure out really what these people want and deliver that message to them.
That's good. I think, man, a lot of people need your services because not only, like you said, email is something you can own. Though that list is yours. The platforms can change, but you have your people, and so that can't be taken away from you. And it is intimidating. I've tried to. These platforms, they have so much. They have a lot of ability. But it can be intimidating when you realize, what's a campaign? How do I automate this? And then some of it's drag and drop, but you kind of need someone to coach you into how to work these things and break it down. Okay, what are you trying to first accomplish, and how can you do that simply? And then you can always expand your knowledge of it, but to get going right now and get the message to your people in a simple email, and you can gradually crank it up, right?
Exactly. It's figuring out what your business is, what your real messaging is, what your people want to know. And these tools can be completely overwhelming, and then you can build super complex funnels, click triggers, and all these things that are crazy. But what I help people to do is just let's boil it down to what you really need to be saying, and what is your core, right? And let's like, for example, I love helping people figure out what are, like I said, these content pillars. So one of the things I do is I have on certain pages of our website, we have an opt-in that says, hey, have you never been to a powwow? Do you want to know what the do's and don'ts are, the etiquette? You want to know how to find a powwow in your area?
Yeah.
We have an email sequence on what to expect at your first powwow. And we take them through all of the basic information you need to know before you show up. And so, we get a lot of people that want that information. And so that's a whole segment of our list. And we're delivering the messages that they want, that they came to the website for looking for. And it's awesome because those are people. The other thing I talk about, when you build these sequences, you don't just shout at people, right?
No, yeah.
And that's part of your community. Talk to them directly. And I ask questions in this email sequence. I'll stop in an email and say, hey, by the way, what is it? What are your questions? What are your concerns? Or what are you most excited about? And so I get every day. It's great when I log into my email in the morning. I'll see, I got a few messages from that sequence, and I'm able to have conversations.
Yeah,
and talk
that's great.
And so that helps them feel comfortable. And now next time they go to a powwow, they'll feel comfortable going to a powwow. And who knows, maybe they'll go to a vendor booth and buy, some craft or a blanket or something.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're now supporting the culture. So that building sequences and figuring out what people want and how to deliver those messages are super critical to really making your email a success.
Yeah. Man, that's so smart, because this would be a barrier to me wanting to go, right? Because I would say, well, what do I wear? What do I show up with chairs? Where do you sit?
Yeah.
How do you, so that would be a barrier in my mind only, because I'm not going to go because I might look like an idiot. And here, you answer these questions. This is how the event is run. This is how you show up with what you can bring, what you can. And so that is so good, because that will make the barrier to entry in their people's minds, unlimited. Or you won't be limited by that. That's great. I love it. Buying stuff. It's funny when you said that they might want to buy something. So I was watching a podcast. It's Sean Ryan, and he had a guest on. These guys are both Navy SEAL guys, but this one guy, he's a journalist. He's been down in the Darien Gap in Panama, and so he's been down there like 50 times, but he goes around with the Indians. They control these little villages, and they kind of control where everybody's coming up through. And so his relationship with them has been, the impetus where he had to kind of grease the wheels so that other journalists can come down there safely. But it's just him alone. But he got in with the chiefs, and I had communication with him. So your conversation and sparked that episode with me. Wow, yeah. And he was wearing one of the I forget what you call it, but oh my God, that was probably made by one of the Indians. But when he was in the interview.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with any of those tribes, like down in Mexico or Panama? Or?
We mainly focus on U.S. and Canada.
Yeah. How many tribes are there in U.S.?
There are 560.
Oh my God!
Something federally recognized tribes in the U.S.
Wow.
I know it was 562 at one time, and I think it's gone up a little bit. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So if someone wanted to get a hold of you for your services, and you're not, you don't have to be Native American.
No,
you could be anybody.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I'd love to talk with you if you're looking to help build your community, work on your email marketing. PaulGowder.com is where you can go to find out more about that. And I even have a free video I did on my favorite tools to help build your email list. That's over at paulgowder.com/email tools. I've made all the mistakes, right? And so I've narrowed this down to a few tools that really, really help me build my list. And I'm able to grow steadily every month. I'm up to about 110,000 subscribers.
Great.
And, we're growing a few thousand every month. So yeah, these tools are important. So if somebody's looking to grow your email list, that's a free one I have over there. And then of course I have the online one-on-one coaching.
I'm going to go over there for sure. Maybe I'll hook up with you because I'm just finishing a health coaching curriculum. And so I'll be wanting to build that list up. And, what's great about those platforms is you can have groups. Some people come to you for a different reason. Right. Maybe some people come to you just for the events or the competitions, and some people might come to you for business coaching. You segment your groups that way, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's amazing what you can do. Again, like the what to expect at your first powwow.
Yeah,
that's the segment. But during those emails, I have a few links in there that say that maybe get you over to another one of our content groups, right? And yeah, you're able to move people around. But it's all about, you got to figure out what your messaging is. What are those questions that people want to know? What are kind of the paths you can take them down, and then you build it based on that.
Oh, that's so important. So like I'm in I'm on the coast of Florida, but kind of centrally. So would I be able to find like a competition not too far from me if I go and check out the schedule? And
yeah, PowWows.com/Florida will take you right to
/Florida. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to check this out, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's see. This weekend is FIHA Powwow. That's being held. That is in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Oh, that's right down from me, like 25 minutes south of me. Yeah. Kind of down
that's
near
a pretty
Hutchins.
big one. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Fort Pierce, down near Stuart, Florida. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's close to me. Wow, that's great.
Last weekend there was one in Vero Beach.
Yeah. Oh my God,
that's Dora in the 1st of March. So yeah, there's tons of them that are happening in Florida.
Oh, well, Paul, I'm going to check that out, man. That's great. Is the popularity kind of gaining traction with the marketing of the events? Are you getting a lot of people coming?
Oh yeah, definitely over the last few years, powwows have really picked up. Native culture in general has really been on the rise with things like Killers of the Flower Moon, Reservation Dogs, Rutherford Falls, some of these shows that Yellowstone even.
Yellowstone for sure. We just finished that. Yeah.
So those things help bring culture kind of in mainstream and hear these storytelling or hear these stories and see these characters. So yeah, that's really helped a lot, and people see that and then they want to know more about the culture. So powwows are one of those ways that are an easy touch point to the culture and kind of the window into getting more connected with things that are going on with Native culture. But yeah, we've seen a lot of people getting at that. Of course, COVID set things back, but yeah.
That's awesome, Paul. So, man, any last thoughts? Maybe we'll wrap up here because I'm just I want everybody to go to PowWows.com and PaulGowder.com specifically. And I would, recommend, I got to tell you, email marketing is so important. I learned that through doing my comedy business and doing my writing and just the fear that, well, they might shut this down and, the platforms will change, but email marketing, you want to own that list. Yeah.
Right.
So final thoughts, Paul, and where we can send people. I'm going to include all those links.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, again, if powwows are open to the public, they want you to come out and see and be a spectator and watch. And,
Great.
it's a complete cultural immersion with the food, the dancing, the singing, the crafts. All of that is there. Go over to PowWows.com and find out where there's one happening to you near you. If you're new to PowWows and are interested and know what to expect at your first powwow, you can go to PowWows.com/powwow101, and that'll get you into that list we talked about. And then, of course, if you're looking for business coaching and want to level up what you're doing, please come over to paulgowder.com. I'd love to help you out with that.
Well, Paul, I'm going to do that. I'm going to look into that, and I would encourage anybody to go to one of these powwows and check it out. It's not just for tribes and people that are Native. This is for everybody coming together, and we need that more and more today. Yeah. Paul, I can't thank you enough. Please hang out a little bit after the show, and we're going to do a little debriefing. We're going to have a little powwow, Paul. And I sure appreciate your time, brother, and I hope we can point more people to you, and you're available for coaching and all these aspects. And I think you're really serving others. So thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube, and I'll have all the links for Paul in the description. And if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, subscribe to the show. It tells the computer people are interacting, and they'll send it to more people. And you know I love you. I'll see you on the next episode.